Hi boys and girls, in this video I will be doing today's math lesson with you. So if you would get out your math books, you need to open them up to today's pages. According to our calendar for the week, if we look, we can see that we should be on 14.3, which begins on page 541. So go ahead and open up your math books to page 541, 541, and once you have your books open and ready, we can get started. All right, so far in the past couple of weeks, we have been talking about equal parts or equal shares. We learned that when we break things into the same size pieces, those are called equal shares. And yesterday we focused on halves. And we learned that halves are when we take a whole object and cut it into two pieces that are the exact same size. Now, today we're going to continue with our learning about equal size pieces or equal shares, only now we're going to be talking about making fourths. And fourths, you can hear right in its name that number 4. So what a fourth is when we take an object or a shape and we break it into 4 pieces instead of 2, and they all are the same size or amount. So let's take a look at the top of our page here. At the beginning of our lesson, it says make fourths. A sandwich is shared by 4 friends. How much of the sandwich does each friend get? Well, if we break it into 4 equal shares or 4 equal pieces, one piece of that sandwich would be called 1/4. Another name for a fourth is a quarter. So you're getting a quarter of the sandwich or a fourth of the sandwich. Each friend gets 1/4 of the sandwich. 4/4 or 4 quarters make a whole sandwich. So 4/4 make a whole. So now let's go down to the practice part here. And it says, circle the shapes that show fourths. Put an X on the shapes that do not show fourths. Now, I want you to understand that each of these shapes are going to be broken into 4 pieces. But if the pieces are not the same amount, the same size and the same shape, then they're not equal, so they're not actual fourths. Okay, so what we're looking for is 4 pieces, all the same amount or the same size and shape. So the first one there, that circle, they've shown you, even though it's broken into 1, 2, 3, 4 pieces, these side pieces are much smaller than these middle pieces. So we can't say that those are equal shares, so it's not fourths. So they put an X on it. You can go ahead and trace that X right now. Okay. This next one is a rectangle, and you can see they split it into 1, 2, 3, 4 pieces. And looking at that, I can see that each of those pieces are the same size and shape. So those are equal shares. They are 4 pieces, so those are fourths. So you can put a circle around that shape to show that those are same amounts or equal shares. Okay? Taking a look at number 3, we have this circle, and they have split the circle in half and then in half again. So we see that there are 1, 2, 3, 4 pieces, and each piece is shaped that triangle shape with the curved outer edge. So they are all the same size and they all have the same shape. So we can say that those are equal shares. Those are fourths. So you can circle number 3. Okay. Looking at shape number 4, at first glance, I see 1, 2, 3, 4 pieces, so my mind wants to say that those are fourths. But if we look carefully, we can see that these 2 edge pieces are shaped like triangles, and the middle pieces are shaped more like those trapezoids. So those are not the same size and shape. So even though it's 4 pieces, they're not fourths because they're not equal. So you can put an X on that shape. Now, number 5, they're trying to trick us, and I'm going to show you why over here on the board. They've taken that rectangle and broken it into 1, 2, 3, 4 pieces. Now, at first glance, when we see that rectangle, we want to say that no, those are not equal amounts because it looks like I have different shapes. what they've done is cut it into 4 triangles. Now, even though it appears that these 2 triangles are a different shape than these 2, if we were to flip these 2 shapes upside down, we would see that they actually are the same size and shape. So for that one, if you were a little confused or not sure, I would say circle it because they all equal size and shapes. They're 4 triangles that have the same amount. Okay? All right, and looking at number 6, we see it was a square that they kind of turned on its side, and then they cut it into 4 smaller squares that are all the same size and shape. So you can circle number 6. Okay, you can go ahead now and turn the page so that you get to the next page where we have some more practice. And just like we did yesterday, where you took the dots and you drew the lines and filled in 1/2, today you're going to do the same concept, except now you're going to be filling in 1/4. So they have the first one done for you. They took the square, they cut it this way and that way so that they had 4 equal sized pieces, and then they colored in 1 piece because that is 1/4. Okay, if you color 2 pieces, that would be 2/4, or 3 pieces would be 3/4. We want you to color in 1/4. And you'll do that for each of the shapes. Now, number 8 is a square as well. And again, we learned that there are different ways that we can cut them. So for number 8, you could go corner to corner and do 4 triangles, and then you would color in 1 triangle to show 1/4. And then for the circle, if you cut down the center and across the center, you get those 4 triangles, and if you color in 1 of them, it's showing 1/4. Okay? Okay, moving on to number 10. The paper is folded into 4 equal shares. Circle the picture that shows how the paper could be folded. So here the paper is folded into equal shares, but this said 4 equal shares, and here I only see 2. So go ahead and circle this one with 1, 2, 3, 4 equal shares. That's the one we're looking for. All right, now we're going to look at number 11. And just a reminder, if I start going too fast while you're watching these videos and you're having a hard time keeping up, the beauty of watching it in a video is you can pause at any time. You can even rewind and re-listen if you're confused. So don't worry if I'm moving too quickly. Go ahead and hit pause, catch up, and then unpause, okay? I'm moving through this pretty fluidly, but if I'm going too fast, you don't need to worry about that. Just pause it and catch up when you can, okay? Okay, so number 11 says, each part of a square garden is 1/4. What shape could each of the fourths be? So each part of the square garden is 1/4. So we need to think about a square, and I'm going to draw 3 squares here because I see 1, 2, 3 possible shapes. So I'm going to do my best to make them even squares. Remember, when we're freehand drawing shapes, they're not always perfect, but I'm going to just try to make them as best I can. So there's 1, 2, 3 squares, okay? One possible way is what we talked about, coming down and over, and that would give us squares. So for your first word, you can write S-Q-U-A-R-E, square. So one possibility would be squares, okay? Another way that we could do it is cutting from corner to corner. That would give us 4 equal pieces, and these are triangles. So on this second line here, you will write triangle. T-R-I-A-N-G-L-E. And now the last one, if you weren't sure what to do for that last one, if we were to cut it like this, down the middle, we'll have 1, 2, 3, 4 rectangles. So for that last one, you should write the word rectangle, R-E-C-T-A-N-G-L-E. G-L-E. And if you need to pause it and take more time to write out those words, go ahead and pause and then unpause when you're done. Okay. And number 12 here says, tell what shape with 4 equal shares. Tell what a shape with 4 equal shares looks like, and then draw a picture. So you can choose any shape you want, put it here, and then explain to me on the lines, what does a shape with 4 equal shares look like? Okay? When you are done doing that, I'm fairly confident now that you can go on to the next page and complete this part on your own. So you'll do the same thing here that we've done the last couple days. You'll go through. If it has 4 equal shares, you will circle it. If they are unequal, you'll put an X on it. So we're looking for equal shares in order for them to be fourths, and make sure there's 4. If they're equal shares but there's less than 4, it's still not fourths, okay? And when you're done doing those 9, you'll turn over. You'll do the same thing here that we did on the other page, where you break them into fourths and color 1 fourth. Number 4 says a farmer plants his field in 4 quarters. A different crop is in each fourth. Will each crop have the same amount of space to grow? Well, think about it. If they're in fourths, we know that they're equal spaces, so your answer would be yes. And you can explain how you know that. And then the last one on that page says, is there only one way to draw a rectangle with fourths? Well, we just showed with squares that we have lots of ways that we can do it. So you can explain or draw a picture of how you know that there's more than one way. Okay, so go ahead and take your time to work on that. Tomorrow we'll be working on our mid-chapter progress, where you'll get to show me everything that you've been learning. If you have any questions, you can message me. Ivana has been sending me little recorded videos on Dojo with questions and just sweet little check-ins with me, telling me hello and asking about my family. It's been wonderful. You are welcome to do that as well. And I will see you again in another video later today. Happy learning!